It is Ticket Tuesday. Craig Miller from the Morning Musers with us. He is the author of Craig Miller's Guide to Never Buying into the Cowboys Again. New strategy for your broadcast position tonight?
Just trying something new, shaking it up a little bit.
We dig it. In 2024, new year, you try new things.
You know, Sam, I was the first guest ever on Free for All. I don't know if you're familiar with that bit of trivia.
Before Sam was with us.
I do recall
actually.
that.
Yeah, and so it's always kind of fun when I come back and make another appearance, and I always try to bring a gift.
That's right.
I brought one that first night, and I brought one the last time I was with you guys, and I brought many gifts over the years. So I brought another one for you tonight. It is, and this is straight out of my memorabilia collection, it's something that's really hard for me to part with. But I brought you both a Joey Gallo bobblehead.
Oh, how nice.
Now, I just brought one, so you'll have to share it.
It's okay.
You'll have to work out a schedule between the two of you. 1 week you have it, 1 week
He's
Sam
got a
has
big
it.
collection, so he can have it for now. And
It's beautiful.
You know, I
Yeah.
may put it on my desk from time to time. Thank you, Craig.
I talked to the folks at Heritage Auctions, and it is somewhere in the neighborhood of $250,000 in value, maybe. So that's my gift to the both of you.
Thank
I don't
you.
see a bat in here. I don't know if we can get it tight of that or not. No, I think we're all right.
Now, the fact that he is currently an unsigned free agent, I think, does maybe drop the value a little bit, but it's yours. I don't want it back.
Thank you so much. No, I remember that first free-for-all appearance well from you. That's back when I hosted the show by myself. I didn't have a co-host.
That's
back
right.
then.
A bit nostalgic,
Somehow
but
managed to get through things.
What you always call better times.
No.
The glory days is what he likes to call
Not
it.
when Sam's around, I don't call it that. Craig, another Cowboys season has come to an end. I don't know if you noticed, without playoff success. Questions now about what Jerry should do, will do, about Mike McCarthy. Is it time for a change, in your opinion?
If we aren't rolling yet, I don't know if we are. Could I go to the restroom real quick? Are we? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was a little walkthrough.
We're live. Well, yes.
We are
This is the
live.
real show, yes.
Okay.
McCarthy, yay or nay?
It's a really difficult question. My gut is that Jerry desperately does not want to make a change because he kept Garrett for 10 years, and I think he really likes the stability, and he can always sell, yeah, he's won 12 games, 3 straight seasons, so we're close. But I think Sunday showed they're a lot further than just about everybody thought that they were. So is it time for a change? Probably. Will Jerry make that change? I'm not so sure. I think it depends on the conversations he's having this week with Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, Mike Vrabel, whoever else he might be talking to. I know he's burning up the phone lines right now. And I think if he gets a really good feeling from one of those candidates, or a candidate we haven't mentioned, I'm sure he's talking to 20 people, then I think he would make the change. But I think he's going into this with the idea, I really don't want to unless I'm blown away by what I hear on the other end of the phone.
Speaking of Bill Belichick, he interviewed with the Atlanta Falcons yesterday. He's there for the taking. You know, I've heard from a lot of people, because I think you entertain it if he wants to come here. I do. I think he's the greatest coach of all time. He's won 6 Super Bowls, but I've heard from a lot of people who say he is not a good fit here. Do you agree with that? Would he be your top choice? What would you feel if Bill Belichick came here to coach?
Well, it would be hard to turn him down, and it's hard to say that you don't want Bill Belichick, but he's 71. I think the concerns that maybe the game, or at least talent evaluation, has passed him by, I think that might be legitimate. He's been running their drafts, and their drafts have been very poor. The game does pass coaches by. Mike McCarthy, when he left Green Bay, he went into the barn because he felt like the game was kind of passing him by. And so he, to his credit, he studied it for a year, tried to catch up with the more modern NFL, and maybe that's what Bill Belichick needs. So I don't think it's a guarantee that if you brought him in that he would turn things around, but I would like to see it, because I do think they'll need a different voice going forward. I don't know how McCarthy goes in front of the team for the first time at training camp or before the first game next year, if he's their coach again, and tries to sell the message, or it's going to fall on deaf ears a lot sooner than later. And I could see a scenario where if they brought him back, the whole thing just implodes next year, because the team has to be losing confidence in him, they have to be losing confidence in Dak. And so maybe you bring a guy, excuse me, like Belichick in, and maybe it takes the powerful aura of a guy like that to really make a difference.
The Jerry Jones issue always comes up at this time of the year when the season ends earlier than people want it to. The way the franchise operates is unique. But I think Jerry's less involved in reality than he's ever been. But you still think that's an issue, the overall just aura of Jerry Jones as the overriding factor in this franchise?
I do, because it's the only common thread through these 27 years of playoff ineptitude. And it's the same thing that keeps happening over and over. And you know, he has changed the way maybe, and he's not as involved in personnel, and he's kind of turned that over to Will McClay. But he is still the face of the franchise. And every successful sports franchise or college program has a great culture. And Jerry is the culture. And Jerry dictates the culture because he won't let coaches dictate the culture. The last one that did was Jimmy. And maybe he let Parcells do it a little bit. But if you don't have that culture where everybody is on the same page, you have the same thoughts and plans and direction as an organization, and this is what we do, and we are going to bring in players that fit into our culture. Jerry changes that because he's the general manager. He changes that mindset. He's a weather vane. Whichever direction the NFL wind is blowing, well, that's what we're going to do now. We're going to get a young coach. Oh no, wait, it's all about offense and the quarterback. Oh wait, they're playing defense now. He is the franchise, and he undermines the power of any coach. And there's so many problems I have with Jerry that this would take 2 or 3 hours for me to go through them all. But to answer your question, yes, I still think he's a big problem, and that the Cowboys never really know what they are. They don't have a culture of success, of winning. That stopped when Jimmy left.
Will you be having any book signings soon? Again, if people aren't familiar, the book is Craig Miller's Guide to Never Buying into the Cowboys Again. Pull back the curtain on that whole thing a little bit.
More copies, too? 1 billion more? Did I read that?
1 billion more ordered by my publisher.
Okay.
This started 3 or 4 years ago, I think. Maybe it was after the first San Francisco loss in the playoffs 3 years ago, when they were home in the 3 seed and they lost to the 6 seed. And I said, you know, every year we come on here at training camp and we talk about how good this roster looks, and then they win a few games in the regular season, and everybody buys in, and it never changes. The end result never changes. So I published a book, My Guide to Never Buying into the Cowboys, and I did a segment on the show of all the chapters, what each chapter was. You know, it's going to be fool's gold. They're going to set you up for another failure. As long as Jerry is still there, this is going to happen. And why we all buy into it every year. And I just made the declaration, now I'm not going to buy into it ever again. And here's my guide on how you can follow in my footsteps. And sure enough, that next year, disappointing playoff exit. Sure enough, this year, shocking playoff exit. And I think that's going to continue. I don't really see that changing with this owner and this coach and this quarterback and that culture out there. So, yeah, there's not actually a book
yet.
It was more of a radio segment. And, yeah, we were all workshopping some ideas.
Yeah, some good ideas in the works.
To actually put a book out. And if I do, I'd like to come back on this show to promote it.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, Craig, yeah, we'd always like to have you, Craig. Absolutely.
Thank you, Mike.
But looky there, we're out of time for now. Craig Miller.
I can stay.
Morning Musers.
Thanks, Craig.
We got cold weather. Do you want me to do
Tuesday? Yeah, go over to the
stuff?
Weather Center and give Dan a little bit of a primer on what's coming up. Craig, thanks very much.
Thank you.